I was married for 6 years to a beautiful woman of God. And listen, just the mere fact that I said I was married shows that I was married and along somewhere I failed. And so you may say, well, what you got to say because you're not still married. And so evidently your marriage at some point fell out of place for whatever reason. So what can you share? I've been divorced now for about 4 years. And I really don't talk about relationships or marriage a lot, but I cannot be a young preacher. I cannot be a young millennial preacher and not be able to hit everything, because we can talk about praise, we can talk about success, we can talk about faith and giving and all of that stuff, but we have to deal with the reality of relationships. And what better time than the morning after Valentine's Day? Octavia, what's up? What better time to talk about it than the morning after, right after Valentine's Day? I pray that all of you had a great Valentine's Day. Mine actually was amazing. I spent time with my brother Mark Moore, had an event in the city of Atlanta. It was a YLC singles event. It was absolutely amazing. It was the battle of the sexes. And after we played a lot of games, ate some great food and all of that stuff, we had time to just really dive into some deep conversation with the male perspective and the female perspective in the room. And what I figured out was a lot of them in the room, they were single. But there weren't many that were married before that have already dealt with the reality of marriage. And that's what I want to demystify on this live today. So if you guys can continue to share this live. I promise you that I don't want to be on here long, but I have to talk to my millennial brothers and sisters. Let me first start off by saying this. I believe, and this is what my purpose was getting on this live for, I believe that a lot of us millennials, and that's who I'm really speaking to, I believe that a lot of the millennials, that we have an idea of marriage. I believe that we have a image of marriage. And notice I don't have any notes because I'm just going straight off of what I know. I'm no relationship expert, but let me tell you that I believe that a lot of us millennials, that we have viewed marriage as an image, that we have the idea of marriage, but we don't know the implementation that it takes to sustain a marriage. We have the fantasy of being married because we want to be booed up with somebody, and we look at marriage as this thing that is that we're all trying to get to. Now, let me say this. Now, I'm pro marriage. I'm for marriage. I believe that marriage is for the man and the woman. I believe that God put women on the earth for the man, and he put the man on the earth for the woman. I believe in biblical marriage. I do. I believe in all of what love stands for. But I want our millennials to understand this. Marriage is more responsibility than it is reward. I'll say that again. Marriage is more responsibility than it is reward. No one is saying, see, everyone wants to be married because they want a +1 when they go to the party. Everyone wants to be married because on days like Valentine's Day, they want to post their pictures and be booed up. Everyone wants to be married because they desire that when they go on vacations, they want a person to have fun with, a person to vacate with, and all of that stuff is great. Now, let me say this. Marriage is beautiful. Marriage is amazing. You're going to have some amazing days in marriage. You're going to have some days in marriage where you do not want to get out of the bed at all. And I'm not just talking about because you're making love. Hey, it might be because you're making love, but you're going to have some days where you're not going to want to leave your spouse's side. There are going to be some days where wherever she goes, you're going to want to go. Wherever he goes, you're going to want to go. If he rocking Adidas today, you rocking Adidas today. If she going to the nail shop today, you going to the nail shop with her. So marriage is beautiful. The thing that makes the marriage beautiful, though, it is not the initial part, the honeymoon stage. The part that makes the marriage beautiful is when you have grown in love. And that's what I want to talk about, because that was one of the questions last night. Someone asked a question. They said, should you be in love before you get married, or can you just make a choice to grow in love with that person after you get married. And here's my statement that I want to say to the millennials. I believe that you should be in love before you get married. But let me say this, the love that you have when you meet your spouse, the love that you have on the day that you say I do, is not going to be the love that's going to sustain you 5 years from that wedding day. Okay? The love that you have right then and there when you meet that person is not going to be the same driving force that keeps you 5 years from now. Let me say what love is, because they talked about last night that love is a sacrifice, and it is. Marriage is for the strong. Marriage is for, like my people say, marriage is for grown folk. But let me say this. Love is, number one, a seed. Love is, number two, a sense. Love is, number three, a sacrifice. Love is a seed. John 3:16. Those of you that don't know your Bible, you do know this verse. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. Now, because he loved the world, he gave his son. Why did he give a son and not a daughter? Because sons carry seed. And so God gave a gift that will keep on giving. And so I believe that marriage, that love is a seed, that it is a gift that will keep on giving. It will give in the first year of the marriage. It will give in the 5th year of the marriage. It will give in the 10th year of the marriage. That love will grow. Jesus was a little baby in a manger. Y'all remember that Jesus was a little baby in a manger. But then Jesus was a little boy that turned water into wine. Then we see Jesus. He grows up to be a full-grown man, to be 33.5 years old. And so we see Jesus growing as a baby, an infant. And so we see that love growing. So love grows. Okay? Love is also a sense. That means that it is a feeling. It is a invisible force. Love is an invisible force that you just know. That you have this great deep emotion with this person. There was someone that said last night that if I don't talk to you, my food don't taste right. If I don't speak to you, my day doesn't go right. When I'm in your presence, I'm thinking about how can I serve you and what can I do to better myself, to be of a better service and be a better minister to you. Because marriage is not a license to have sex only, but marriage is like a ministerial ordination license. Yeah. Why? Because you now become ministers to one another. Just like when I stood before the church on March the 7th, 2010, I stood before the church and I accepted that ministry license into ministry. Almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I stood. I said that I would be constrained to the gospel for the rest of my life, that I would preach the gospel of Jesus Christ for the rest of my life, that I would try to be a living epistle of the word of God, that I would keep hold of the sacrament. So I became a minister of the gospel. On your wedding day, you become a minister to your spouse. So love is a seed. Love is also a sense. It's a feeling. It's an emotion. It is a deep longing for that person. You're going to need that. But love is also a sacrifice. Now, let me give you the reality and the real of what marriage is. Now, I said this on my Instagram and someone told me, and it was an amazing response. They said, well, you only have an opinion because your marriage won't be like everyone else's marriage. And I'm well aware of that. That what it took for me and my ex-wife, it may not take for you and your current person or your future spouse. It may not take that because we all come from different walks of life. But let me give you the general reality of marriage. Those of you that have a car, you can comment by the show of hands. I want you to just wave your hand or say, yes, I got a car. If you have a car, I'm talking about your own car. I want you to say, I got it. Those of you that have your own house, not an apartment, your own house with a mortgage, I want you to say, I got it. I just want you to comment and say, I got it. Those of you that have your own car, those of you that have your own house, I want you to say, I got it. Those are the two things that I want to talk about. Okay, Cariana says, I got it. Okay, so we're going to continue. The reality of marriage is this, and this is my opinion. I am no relationship expert, but let me talk to you about marriage. Okay, marriage is great reward. So you're going to get to date, you're going to get to kiss, you're going to get to massage, you're going to get to do each other's feet, you're going to get to raise children together, you're going to get to vacation together, you're going to get to make love to each other, you're going to get to do all of those things, you're going to get to grow together. But let me tell you about the responsibility of marriage. Here is my opinion of what the reality of marriage looks like. Imagine going to the car lot. And you have the finances because you want to be prepared before you get married. You have the finances, everything is in order. And so you can go to the car lot to get whatever car you want on the lot. You can get a Toyota Camry. You can get a Mercedes Benz. You can get an Acura, but you get the car of your choice. You look at the specs, you look at the numbers, boom, this works for me. And all you can see is yourself on the road in that car. You can see yourself going to pick up your homegirls in your car, pick up your homeboys in the car. You see yourself going on road trips in your new car. You see yourself pulling up the church to say, look at what the Lord has done. He brought me out of darkness and brought me into the marvelous light. And so you see the shiny car, the shiny red Corvette. You see the shiny wheels. You see all of that. But this is the mindset that you have to think of about marriage. This is the only car that you will have for the rest of your life. Imagine going to the car lot and picking the only car that you will have for the rest of your life. And so some of you guys may already be married, and you may say, well, I picked a Toyota Corolla. Where you're going to have to deal with that Toyota Corolla for the rest of your life. Now, those of you that have a car, let me say this. The current status of your car's health right now, just look at that as a reflection of what your marriage will look like right now. You got crumbs in the back seat, the oil light is on, the tire light is on, the service engine light is on. You almost on E right now. Well, you know, Cody, girls don't really care about cars like that. They just get in and drive. You can't say that. You can't say that because you don't want to say, well, guys really don't care about marriage like that. They just want to have sex. No. It takes responsibility. And so all I'm trying to do is show you where you are on the level of your responsibility. Look at the current state of your vehicle right now. Now, on this one, you ain't got to tell me the current state. If your gas is almost on E right now, if your lights is on, if your tires are flat. Now, mind you, when you got the car, it was nice, it was shiny, you was ready to ride, you was looking at what the Lord has done, and so you got the car, whether it's a Kia or whether it's a Mercedes, you got the car. But notice after a few months of driving that car and you've went a couple of hundred or thousands of miles in that car, the spark is not what it used to be when you first got the Mercedes. The spark is not what it used to be when you first got the Camry. The spark is not what it used to be when you were sitting at the car lot and you were like, I ain't never had my own car before, and now I'm signing for my own car. That's what marriage is. Imagine if I told you the car that you have right now, this is the car that you will be with for the rest of your life till death do you part. This is the car. What would you do with the car that you have right now? Cody, I can't stand my car. It's going to be sometimes in marriage. Oh, it's inevitable, baby. It don't matter how much love, seed love, sense love. It doesn't matter how much love you got. It's going to come a time in your marriage where you're going to say, I can't stand this person. All right. The new car smell has wore off. You know what that's related Two, that means that we've made all the love that we could make. I know her body in and out. She knows my body in and out. And so now it's not a fantasy anymore because I know what's getting ready to happen. Then you'll get in a routine. And I'm only sharing this because I was married before. So what do you do? What do you do when you say, well, Cody, I got a Toyota Camry and I don't really like it like that. You can't give it up. That's the reality of marriage. That's the reality of marriage. I'm not trying to scare you away from marriage. Why? Because you're going to choose wiser. You're going to choose wiser. Instead of me settling for a Toyota Camry, and nothing against Camrys, let me just wait until my Range Rover type of relationship comes through. Or let me just wait until my Mercedes comes through. Let me just wait until, my dream comes, because if I settle for the Camry, now, let me talk to those who you did marry a Camry type of relationship person. When you get in a car and you get into this contract, or better yet, a covenant, you cannot say, I don't want this car no more. Give me another one. You can't say that. You can't say that, because that's just like marriage. Lady Amy, Pastor Blunt, what's up? That's just like marriage. You can't say you don't want your husband anymore. You can't say the thrill is gone. You can't say she ain't sexy no more, because when I first went to the car lot, the car was sexy. It had all the fruits, nuts, and the berries, the bells and the whistles, and it had a sunroof and all this stuff. And now you can care less about a sunroof. Now you can care less. And okay, so this is what you do. You can't leave. You can't give the car up. Check this out. You can't get another car. Meaning this, you can't have your Corolla or your Camry marriage and say, okay, I'm going to jump out of this and go ride in the Bentley for a couple of days. That's your side chick. That's your side relationship that some of these married people do have. That's what I was talking about to someone this morning. Can we address the fact that you have some married men who have now gotten dissatisfied with the Mercedes of a marriage that they got? They jumped out the Mercedes to go and jump into another vehicle just for a couple of days, and then they come back to the Mercedes. You can't do that. But that's the reality of marriage. It's like buying a car for the rest of your life. But there is hope. But let me talk about the house part. When you purchase a home, the first thing you're thinking about, oh, the neighborhoods are good. Oh, the school system is good. Oh, the taxes in this area are going to be low. Oh, I can't wait to cook in my kitchen. Oh, I can't wait to put my red bottoms in the closet. Oh, I can't wait to do Christmas at my house. We ain't going to grandmama's house no more. Christmas at my house. Christmas with the Codys. That sounds all right, don't it? Christmas with the Codys. It's going to be at my house now. So all you see is this yard. All you see is the cosmetics of this house. But we've yet to talk about the plumbing. We've yet to talk about the landscape. We've yet to talk about the electrical wiring. We've yet to talk about the things that it takes to maintain a house. We've yet to talk about, you got a basement, what if it floods? We've yet to talk about that. What if something happens to your plumbing? You can't call the maintenance man no more, because you don't live in an apartment anymore. You live in a house. You got to fix it. Do you have proper warranties in place? Do you have proper insurance policies in place? Now, see, let's talk about marriage for real. Let's talk about marriage for real, because let me tell you something. It's more than sex. God, let me tell you something. It's more than sex. Take it from me. I'm not putting myself out there like that because I'm a man of God. But let me tell you, I'm a man of God. So that means this. I liked to be satisfied by my wife. I couldn't wait to get home. Y'all ain't talking on this live right here. I could not wait to get home to be with my wife, to be intimate with my spouse. It don't take nothing for a man. You can be in the kitchen pouring some cereal in the bowl and he's ready. You could just be rolling over in the bed, but the way you rolled over and you kind of touched me a little bit. But what happens when it's more to marriage than that? Because let me tell you something, sirs, that's on here. Let me speak for the women. What I learned being married is it doesn't matter how good your game is in the bed. She can care less. Yes, she wants to be satisfied. Yes, she wants to be pleased. Yes, she wants to be loved, but she wants something more. And that's where I failed at marriage. That's where I failed at marriage, because I had a wife who, I like to be pleased. I like to be intimate, but I want to feel secure more than your sex game. Now we're talking about marriage for real. I want to be secure. I want to know that if I'm not having a good day, that you don't have to work my nerves with asking me, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You was good this morning, but now you ain't good. You was all on me this morning, but now you ain't all on me no more. Can you pick her up in the spirit? And that's where I was. I was so spiritual. I had just been ordained a minister a year before I got married. And so I was so spiritual, at least I thought I was. I was so spiritual to the point that I missed my wife's spirit, that I did not pick her up in the spirit. I had to wait until she just went all the way off like Tasmanian devil to say, what's wrong? Let's talk. But I missed the context clues, because I wasn't at one with her in the spirit. That's what marriage really is. Can you pick him up in the spirit? Can you pick her up in the spirit? Can you tell when her day is off? Can you tell just by the mere fact that she brushed her teeth a different way and just left the house? She didn't say bye. She didn't say nothing. Instead of you texting what's wrong, have some flowers or something that she likes waiting for her before she gets to her office at work. Pick her up in the spirit. Don't just, baby, what's wrong? Baby, what's going on with you? You ain't acting the same no more. You done turned me down for 2 days. Let's talk about that too. Why? Because when you were single, I know the singles ain't supposed to be out here having sex and fornicate, but let's be real, it's happening. So when you were single, you could get all the sex you want when you want it. But then you get married and you stand before God and his church and say that I'm going to be with this person to death do me part, for good or for better or for worse, for sickness and health, to death do me part. And then when you get on it and your body is calling for something and then your spouse rejects it because they're going through something emotionally, how do you handle that? And you can't leave and go get in another car. You got to stay in your same car. How do you handle that? Because they don't talk about the fact that sometimes in marriage, I'm not saying that this will be everybody, but there have been sometimes, I'm just going to give you the raw real. There are going to be sometimes in marriage where you will be laying in the bed together, but you are not on one accord about certain things. It could be a move. It can be a job change. It can be about something related to the kids. How do you work through that? I'm afraid that our generation, I'm talking about millennials right now, that we are so inconsistent that is why our millennials don't stay married longer than 5 years. Our millennials are ready to tap out within the first year. Why? Because grandmama got the same house phone she had when you was a child 40 years ago. Your mama got the same house. My grandmama stayed in the same house that she stayed in when I was a baby. My grandmother has paid off her house. She's in the same house. I remember I was just at my grandmother's house yesterday as a full-grown man. I'm a full-grown man with children of my own. But I remember as a child running around in that same house that my grandmother lives in, to the point that for Christmas, my grandmother gave my children some of the toys that I used to play with upstairs in my playroom. I remember bringing my children to my grandmother's house and laying in the same room, in the same bed. And I said, Madison, this is the bed your daddy used to sleep in when he was your age. The older generation, my grandmother is a baby boomer. They understood consistency. But I'm afraid that our generation, that as soon as the next iPhone come out, we got to jump on it. Yeah, that's just how we are. iPhone 8 came out. Listen, you just got the 7 last week. But now everybody on the 8. And so now you got to get that. And then 6 months later, now the 10 come out. Now you got to get that. And then 6 months later, the iPhone 20 come out. And now you got to get that. You got to have the latest of this, the latest of that. How do you bring that mentality into your marriage? You can't. You can't. You can't. Marriage is going to give you not only another level of healing, because that's what we like to talk about, the healing part, which it does. It gives you another level of healing because there will be times in marriage. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I've experienced. There will be times in marriage where it ain't no IG. There is no Facebook Live. There are no filters. There's nothing to post when it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you're in the middle of the bed, Indian style, learning your wife. And while she's telling you about her childhood, you're getting free. Or while he's telling you about his insecurity, you're getting free and you're feeling empowered because he feels so safe with you that he can tell you his flaws. That's marriage. That's real black love. But I'm afraid that our generation, that when we look at the house, we don't look at the 30-year mortgage. We don't look at the consistency. We look at the cosmetics. So you think you want to be married. You do. You think you want to be married. But marriage is serious work. Marriage is serious business. If I would have known what I know now, I would probably still be married. Now, I have no regrets. But let me say this. When I met my wife in high school, when I met her in high school, in the same algebra class, then we had the same Spanish class. And then we lost contact. Check this out. We lost contact for a minute. And one of my friends said, hey, I sing for a group. I want you to be the musician for the group. I meet the leader of the group. And when I meet the leader of the group, I go in the rehearsal. And who walks in the rehearsal? The girl that I went to high school with. The girl that was in my algebra class. The girl that was in my Spanish class, who knew my brother, but she didn't really know me like that. She knew my brother. And I developed a relationship with her. I was head over. You can ask my family. They couldn't tell me nothing. She was like that black on black Mercedes that I want right now. Shiny, body, everything just right. But, okay, Cody. If she was Gail, you remember, if she was all of that and you were so much in love with her, why you not married now in 2020? In 2011, I stood right there and said, I do for the rest of my life. August the 10th, 2011, I stood right there and said, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, for rich or for poor, to death do you part. Why we ain't together right now? I'm going to give you my perspective. My perspective is I did not have the wherewithal to hold her up. Oh, yeah. I didn't have the wherewithal to hold her up because I was too busy trying to find me that I couldn't find her. I was too busy worried about me and my money coming up and me making it. And then I worried about you. I was selfish. This is stuff that they're not going to tell you on IG because they want to post their pictures of them going to the Grammys, and they want to post the pictures of them going to the Stellars, or, that's churchy. They want you to post, they want to post the pictures of him wearing his clergy collar and she got on her suit and they look like a power couple because he preach and she prays and he preach and she sing and he play and she sing, and they look like a power couple. But the thing that they don't tell you is we come from two opposite sides of the track. Meaning this, my ex-wife and myself both grew up in Decatur. We both grew up in the city of Decatur, but we came from two different lifestyles. Both grew up in single family homes. I'm not going to tell her story because she's not on here to tell her story, but both grew up in single mother homes. So you would think that because we know what it feels like to be raised in a house, I'm telling you what's real in marriage. You would think because we know what it feels like to be raised in a house with one parent that we are going to strive even harder to make sure that our children don't have to be raised without us. And what's happening right now is Madison and Gracie and them, they with her. I'm at the house by myself right now, on Facebook Live with you, because this thing is real. There is a reality to marriage that people don't talk about. It is work. It's not scary. I'm not trying to scare you away from marriage because I believe that there is someone that God has for me. I believe that there is someone that God has for you. But we got to talk about the real deal about marriage. We got to talk about the real deal about marriage first before we just jump into something, because you would be trying to get married for the gram. You'll be trying to do it for the gram when the gram can give a rat's behind about you or your wife. So Cody talked about the real deal of marriage. It's like buying a house and you're in a covenant for 30 years. How are you going to sustain? Now, you don't like the house you at right now. You ready to move right now. No. You can't move in a marriage. You can't move in a marriage. The walls are getting so close. They closing in on me. It's going to feel like that in marriage. Don't let these folks tell you that it's all kissing and making love and wearing the same matching outfits and photo shoots and all of that stuff. No. That is only the public display of what's happening in the private. And sometimes it's just fake. It's just fake. The real test of marriage is, can you do something that I absolutely hate? And it takes God's grace and his love for me to sustain in this. So a lot of people, they want marriage because they want a companion. But I would suggest to you, my brother, my sister, before we get off this line, I'm going to tell you this. I want you to develop consistency first. I want you to know what it feels like to be in a covenant, not a contract, but a covenant. You ain't never been faithful to nothing. You ain't never kept a job for longer than 6 months. You went to different schools for first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. You graduated in a total different city. I'm telling you, you might say, Cody, what does that have to do with marriage? I'm telling you, all of that stuff, you're going to see it. You're going to see that pathology in your marriage because it is inevitable. If you grew up in a single family home, I'm not saying that you're going to fail, but there are going to be some things that you're not going to know. So this is why I recommend that even while you're just dating and in a relationship, that I recommend you going to see a relationship counselor. It can be your pastor. It can be a licensed counselor. But then, let me talk about this too. I'm a man of God. I'm a minister of the gospel. I counsel people. And so I would not tell you not to go and see a man or woman of God. But sometimes you can't go and see your pastor at your church. You can't. Sometimes you can't go see the pastor at your church. God knows. I'm not throwing off. But I believe if after my ex-wife and I, if we would have sought spiritual counsel And then if we would have went to someone who can really dissect what's really going on, I think we would have been better off. There's nothing wrong with going to see your pastor. If your pastor is well-rounded, well-educated, and licensed in that area to do that, then go see the man or woman of God. But sometimes you got to go outside of the four walls, see, because at the time, let me tell you something. Church was my biggest marital issue. Me being a musician and me traveling. I'm going to every city you can think of. I've been to 48 states out of the 50. I've been to 4 countries. I'm traveling when my wife is at home with babies. Hold on. But I'm coming home with nothing. They don't want me to talk about that because that's real. And here I am telling my wife, hold on. God's going to come through for us. Faith without works is dead. We got to believe God. We got to hold on. We got to believe God. Baby, there's a seed that we got to sow because we got to break the back of this poverty off of our life. We got to break the back of this thing that's on our life. We got to get $1,000. Let me tell you what I know. I'm telling you what I know. We got to believe God. Come on, baby. And I was pulling her when she was like, because I don't see no works. I don't see no results. I don't see nothing happening in your life. All you doing is leaving and coming back the same way you came. That was the biggest issue. So it wouldn't have been smart for us to go and see church. We should have went to someone that my wife felt comfortable with saying, I don't like what he does. I love the fact that he's a musician, but I don't like the fact that he plays at church. To this point that if she was on this live right now, she would probably be the advocate of not dating a musician. Or not dating a musician how Tommy was. Because there's a difference. Because I believed in sacrifice. I believed in God is going to make a way. God is going to show his hand. And I still believe that stuff. But my family was telling me, nigga, you stupid. I'm sorry I said nigga on here, but I'm just telling you the real on what they was telling me. Negro, you crazy. Here, your wife just had Madison. And now you on the road for 3 days. And you coming home with change? That took a toll on my man because I'm telling her to believe God. God's going to come through for us. And the lights are off. Y'all, the lights are off. Bruh. So I'm having to create ways to get the lights on. I found somebody that can hook us up, cut the lights back on. Hold on. After the lights off, then the water get cut off. How you going to do that? And all the while, I'm telling her, believe God, keep worshiping, keep praying, keep fighting, keep shouting in church. And you couldn't tell her nothing in church. If you see her right now, she's probably running around church right now to this day because that's what she does. And I'm telling her to believe God. Now, I got a job outside of church. I'm working. She's working. But then because we have children, that's marriage. Marriages, and I'm not saying that you're going to experience this in your marriage, but let me tell you what marriage looks like. Marriage looks like you sitting in the dark and you tell the kids that we gonna just light some candles today. It's a candlelight. We gonna eat dinner over candles because the Georgia Power ain't gonna be here till in the morning. All right. I'm telling y'all the real deal. But let me tell you something else. And I'm telling her, believe God, trust God. He's going to make a way. He's going to come through. Just believe him. We got us a seed together and we sold $1,000 in faith. Oh, we was believing God. We was already facing, listen to me, we was already facing an eviction. We needed about $1,300 to not be evicted from our apartment. And here we are. I'm like this, baby, believe God, believe God. We ain't got the whole $1,300 to sow. So we gonna sow this 1,000. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you this standing up? We sold that $1,000 on Sunday morning. But let me tell you, 9:30 a.m. Monday morning, they was knocking hard as if they had a warrant for my arrest. The marshals was at my door. Get out! Everybody out! Everybody. Now imagine you're a husband. Your wife in the room, laying in the bed. Hold on. Not only that, I had one of the members at the church staying with me. So I'm looking like a hero by letting a college student who looked up to me, and he might be on this live right now because I saw his name. A college student who looked up to me, and he's at my house with my wife, my newborn baby, and here it is. I'm being evicted by the marshals at 9:30. They're saying you got to be out of this apartment by 12, and I just sold $1,000 not less than 24 hours ago. How you think my wife looked at me then? I'm talking about marriage. I'm not talking about this stuff that you be seeing on social media. I'm talking about marriage. I'm talking about marriage. I'm talking about real marriage. Hold on. What would it take for you, woman of God, to still make love to a man that feels like a failure? That's marriage. That's marriage. Because you think it's going to be dinner in a movie and he going to have rose petals coming from the car to the bed. No. That happens. That happens. You will experience that. And I pray that you experience all of that. But let me tell you the real. It's real life. It's real life. That's what I dealt with. And so my wife felt like I could not take care of her. She felt like I could not make her feel secure financially, emotionally, spiritually, and you're supposed to be the preacher, but you ain't even holding up your wife spiritually. At least that, Doc. At least spiritually. No, because I was so geeked up. I was so geeked up in church and in God. Woo, so-and-so is in town. We going to revival. So-and-so is having a musical. Oh, we going to meet. Do you know that I got in arguments because she didn't want me to go to church, but I wanted to go to church. Oh, but now, but now, let me tell you something. You who are married, you who are thinking about marriage, listen, I am a man of God right now. I'm a man of God, and I believe that God is calling me to another level of leadership. I do believe that there is a pastoral grace on my life, but I'm going to tell my folks the same thing I'm telling you. Don't you be in church all day and all night and ain't spent time with your wife or spent time with your spouse. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, there were some days where, man, I could cry. There were some days where I couldn't wait to get to church because it was so much pressure in my house. It was oh my God, my wife was up under so much warfare, and I was up under so much warfare that I could not wait to get to the house of God. So God, at least do something for us through the word. Do something for us in the praise and worship. Just do something for us. And so I'm not saying don't go to church at all. I'm not saying don't go to church, because there are going to be some times where you're like, Lord, it's Friday. I got one more day to Sunday. We need to get to the house of God. Because if we don't get to the house of God, I'm going to do something that I'm going to regret, or she going to do something that she's going to regret. So you need the house of God. But let me tell you something. For all these folk that the only reason you got married is to prove something to church people that can give a rat's behind about you or your wife. They ain't thinking about you. They talking about you at the dinner table on Sunday. Don't you give church all of your time. You give church 22 hours of your 24 and then try to come home and lay up with your wife. She ain't with it. She ain't with it. She is not with it. And if I would have known, this is why I don't really talk about marriage and relationships like that, because I don't care how I got divorced. I don't care how my relationship ended. And people that know myself and my ex-wife, you know what happened. But let me tell you something. The only reason I believe that my wife was disinterested in me because I wasn't a man. I was trying to be something in the church. I was trying to be something in the church, but I was a failure in my household. And I'm not blaming church. I'm talking about the current state of where my head was. Oh, I gotta be a son. Oh, I gotta be available. Oh, I gotta go. Baby, I'll see you when I get back. And sometimes she looking at me, all right, fool. Okay, fool. And so I thought she was against church. I thought she was against me being a son. I thought she was against. No, she wasn't against that. She was against the fact that I did not have my priorities in order. Because how in the world you going to go to church and you going to stand up there? You really going to stand up there and sow $50? You really going to stand up there? You going to stand up there and sow $50? So Negroes can see you sowing because you a little minister. They don't like you anyway. But your daughter needs some Pampers. And you going to call your mama? You going to call your mama to borrow some money to get your daughter some Pampers while you at the church? Oh, I got my money, got my seat, got your little tie on, got your little suit on. I'm telling y'all what's real and what's happening. I'm telling y'all what's real and what's happening. That's why I have a total different scope and a total different perspective of what marriage is. Why? Because I'm not looking from the place of what my wife did. No, I'm looking at the place of what I did. I'm looking at the place, Doc, you can't blame her when your stuff was not all the way together. Because let me be real, since I'm airing all my stuff out, let me be real and say this. Women, quit marrying these guys for potential. I'm telling you this because I believe that if she was on this live right now, she would tell you, don't marry for potential. No. She would tell you, I married Tommy because I loved him. I believe she really did love me, but she knew where I was going. Don't marry for potential. No. You got to marry for what's present. Don't marry for potential. Why? Because my wife married me. The day we got married, we went back to a hotel. Not because that was our honeymoon. No. Because that's where I was staying. Y'all ain't gonna talk. Y'all don't want me to be real. Y'all don't want me to be real. Y'all don't want me to be real on this live. When we left, first of all, the courthouse. When we left the courthouse, we went straight to the hotel. Not because that was our honeymoon. My wife was 8 months pregnant with Madison when we got married. She was 8 months pregnant with Madison. I was living in a hotel. I had no car. I was making $300 a week from the church at the time. I had no car. She was driving her grandfather's church, but she married me based on the promise that I made her. In April of that year, when I proposed to her, we got married in August. And I promised to take care of her. So the week of our marriage, we got us an apartment together. I didn't have an apartment before I got married. We got an apartment after we had already said I do. I ain't have no car. I had one of the guys at the church who was a car salesman run me a deal. And guess what? They repossessed my car at the church. And everybody knew it. They repossessed my car at the church. On a Sunday morning, one of the deacons came running in. I'm on the organ. He's trying to get my attention. And this particular deacon is very dramatic. who works in the parking lot at the time. He come and tell me to come outside. My car is up on the truck. Now my wife and my daughter is here. How are we going to get home? So I struggled. But then we did come to a place where I was working a full-time job and church on the side. She was working a full-time job. And we had a good 2 years. I'm talking about child care was paid. I was able to buy my wife a BMW truck. Some of y'all that remember, hey, y'all remember you couldn't tell me nothing. Tommy done bought his wife a BMW and I was driving a Nissan truck and my wife was driving a BMW truck. My wife was working in the bank and insurance, and Tommy, he's working for property management and leasing and at the church, and things are going good. But just because you got money coming, just because you're making good money doesn't mean that you're going to have a good marriage. Now, it takes money to maintain a marriage. I don't care how many women on here might be like, no, he ain't gotta. No, yes, he do. No, yes, he do. Because it takes money to date you. It takes money to date you. That year 1, year 2, doing your anniversary at the house, that's fine when you a young marriage. But there's gonna come a time that your wife gonna be like, bro, we can't even go to Miami. We'll drive, doc. I mean, we can't even go to Miami. like let's just drive. It just a couple hours away. It takes money. The first year of my marriage, my wife and I were not together. I'm just giving y'all my raw testimony. I don't even think I really shared this publicly. The first year we was not together. I was at my grandmama's house. The first year anniversary. I'm talking about August the 10th, 2012. I was over my grandmama's house, and I don't know where my wife was. I'm just being real with you, but the reason why we separated was not because of the simple fact that she just wanted to leave. She wanted an escape from the chaos that I placed her in. She wanted an escape from the confusion that I placed her in. Yeah. So, marriage, the real deal of marriage is this. While you and your wife may not struggle, you and your husband may not be low on funds how I was. Now, we came out of it because listen, I got a testimony for everything. We have to be evicted. I had to go stay with her mama. Y'all ain't saying nothing. So how do you be a man and you upstairs at her mama's house? All right. I'm telling y'all, I can talk about this because I've lived it. Because I got married when I was 21. Still trying to figure out who I am as a man, who I am as a dad, who I am as a husband, trying to figure all of this out and feeling pulled in all of these areas because I gotta be there for my wife, I gotta be there for my babies, I gotta be there for my church, I gotta be there for my family, I gotta be there for my job. And I felt pulled in all of those areas. I'm telling you what real marriage is, not this stuff you be seeing on Instagram. So don't let Valentine's Day discourage you. Don't let that discourage you, because you want to make sure that you are properly prepared, that you are in the right place, financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Let me talk about physically, because I just want a man who just loves me the way that I am. Okay, that's fine. He gonna love you the way that you are. But someone asked this question just this morning: can you be married and still be attracted to something else? My answer was yes. Just because you get married don't mean you get blind. Just because you are married doesn't mean that you're blind. Just because you bought a nice house and you signed a mortgage on a contract doesn't mean that the house next door or the house up the street isn't nicer than yours, in your opinion, or might be attractive. No, 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 no. You want to make sure your physical is together, because you don't get married and get blind. Now, I told her this. I told the young lady this. I said, you can be married and still have an attraction. But the issue is your reaction to the attraction. Now, you got a house. You can't be trying to go tip into nobody else's house because you got attracted to somebody. No, no, no. You got a wife. You got a husband. Okay, look at T.I. Look at Idris Elba and keep it moving. Look at Beyonce. Look at Toya Wright. Thank you. And keep it moving. But it's your reaction to the attraction that makes it a problem. But being married don't make you blind. Now, your prayer should be, Lord, make my eyes only for my spouse. Make my eyes only for my spouse. Let me be honest with you. I was so into my marriage that things that would turn a normal guy on, it didn't turn me on, because I was only turned on by my wife. I'm not being super spiritual with y'all. I'm not trying to act like a preacher. I'm not trying to, no. I really prayed that. And it happened. I don't care what she got on. That don't faze me. The only woman at that time that could make something move was my wife. That should be your prayer. That should be your prayer. She was the only one that could make something move. Now I'm like, hold on now, because before I got married, I could talk to at least 3 or 4 of them and juggle. But when I got married, hold on, because there's going to come a time that you got married and you got on the ring. But there's going to come a time that light going to come on. That light don't come on until after the honeymoon and after y'all don't pay bills and after you got in your first argument and you think you want to leave and you can't go nowhere, then that light comes on. After you got into your first heated discussion and you like, man, I still got to go upstairs and I still got to lay in that bed and I still got to make love to my spouse and I still got to make decisions with them. I still have to do that. That's when that light bulb comes on that you're married. Married ain't tuxedos and wedding dresses and who sung at my wedding and my bridal party and who making a cake and my dress going to be custom and this and that and this and that. I'm going to get the event planner. All of that stuff is cute. That's for the people. That's for the people. The wedding is for the people. Because if we be totally honest, the actual ceremony, it ain't nothing but 15 minutes to say I do. To that do your part. Exchanging the rings, this and that. It ain't nothing but 15 minutes. But all the other stuff is for the people to be, wow, ooh, beautiful, nice, ooh, and wow. And while you may want that, I might want that. I might want a wedding. I don't know. But, I don't care really to have a wedding or not. I don't care, because I think once you've been married, it's like, let's go on and get down to what's real, because you can thank you. That's for the stage. That's for the stage. But yeah. After that first argument, it's like, dang, you still here. But here's the thing. If your pathology was that you was a runner, you'll leave. Y'all don't want me to be real on this live. Y'all don't want me to be real. Why? Because it was later in my marriage that my wife's elementary school teacher, that we met her, and she told me that when my wife was under pressure, she used to run out the classroom. So when she was under pressure at home, what do you think she did? As a full-grown woman, still having the pathology of what it was when you was in elementary school. You ran around the school to the point that they had to chase you down. They had to chase you down because you was up under pressure. And you carried that same thing into your marriage. I was the same way. If I didn't want to deal with a certain situation, I would run away from the situation. I would tuck it up under the bed. But I couldn't do that in marriage no more. Now you got to deal with it. Now you got to talk about it. You can't walk in the house as if they ain't there. You got to walk past them like they a guest. I've seen it all. So don't let these pictures fool you on Instagram and Facebook. Don't let these pastors get on here. All right, Tommy. Don't let these folk get on here and try to fool y'all and making you think. And let me say this before we get off this live. Don't you let nobody choose your spouse for you and tell you who your wife and who your husband is. Lady Amy. Don't you let nobody tell you who your spouse and who your husband is, because somebody wise told me this. He said, Tommy, you let these church folk tell you that's your wife, and you let these church folk tell you that's your husband, women that's on here, and you'll be at home dodging pots and pans while they're at home in front of the fireplace eating strawberries. They don't like this, John. They don't like this word, this real word. I'm talking about, I want to help the millennials sustain in marriage. Just look at the fact that your grandmother, the baby boomers, she still got the same house phone. She ain't even, my grandma don't want no iPhone. She got a little flip phone, but she got the same house. Now check this out. Cody, so you mean to tell me that marriage is like buying a house and having to be there for the rest of my life? Yeah. Yep. But let me tell you what my grandmother did. Now, this is my dad's mom. Let me tell you what she did. She got all new flooring. She got her roof redone. She got her kitchen done. I was just over there yesterday because she just bought some new furniture. And so you're going to have to remain in that covenant forever. But the good news is that you can upgrade. Hold on, but you have to upgrade together. So that means this, just like I made the analogy with the car. If you go to the car lot and you was head over heels with that Toyota Camry, all the things that was on it. At that time, you had a Toyota Camry Apex. You had a Toyota Camry mindset. And so your marriage was Toyota Camry. So now that your marriage has grown to another place, you can't leave out of that Camry by yourself. You and your wife, you and your husband has to come together and say, we've outgrown where we are. So now we have to trade in this. We have to trade in what we once had to something that's greater, because the love that got us here ain't going to be the love that sustained us. Come on, Troy. You know, the love that got us here, that got us to saying I do, is not the same love that's going to keep us to say I still do. It's a different kind of love. But the good news is that you can upgrade. But in a marriage, you can't upgrade and get you a Mercedes and your wife's still on Toyota Camry. No, you have to do it together. You have to make that decision together. Guess what? You can move in another house. I made that analogy to the house, to where you sign a covenant for 30 years. But you can, you and your spouse, the good news is this house has outgrown us. We have to make a decision to move somewhere else, because what made our marriage run then is poison to us now. It's poison to us now. And so you can upgrade. That's the beauty of it. But the responsibility of the beauty of it is this: you have to do it together. You can't move before your wife, husband, and wife, you can't move before your husband. He's slow. I'm making myself laugh. He's slow. He's sluggish. She don't know. You have to expose them. See, I'm telling you, it's responsibility. It's responsibility. But our generation, just like I said, we're the generation that as soon as we get one iPhone, this is my daughter's phone, by the way, that as soon as we get one iPhone and the new one come out, we give in this and we go move on to the next. You can't do that in a marriage. Can you keep this iPhone for at least 2 years before you go and upgrade to something else? Or are you so attracted by the lights and the commercials, or you're so attracted at the fact that everybody else got the latest iPhone, and so you will give in your iPhone 6. This is old. You will give in your iPhone 6 to go and have the latest, or you will leave your iPhone 6 where she is to go tip on over there to the latest iPhone to see what that's about and then try to come on back to this iPhone. You can't do that. So I just wanted to get on here as we're coming to a close. Tavares said, I've always been accustomed to making my own decisions, so deciding with somebody else was initially tough for me. That's good, because let me say this. When I first got married, I didn't want my wife to wash my clothes. Not only did I want her to wash my clothes, don't wash my clothes with your clothes and with the children's clothes. I had a pet peeve about that. We got into arguments about that because of the fact that I didn't want her to wash my clothes. And she wanted to wash my clothes. She wanted to wash. Why I can't wash your clothes? I don't want you washing my clothes because my mom raised me and my brothers. We washed our own clothes separately. Okay, I'm going to close it out. I'm done. So this was a good line. But I wanted to say this, that marriage is real. Okay, this is the morning after, the afternoon after Valentine's Day. Don't get so caught up in your emotions, because everybody that was single, I'll say some, not everybody, because I wasn't. Some people that are single, they was up under some type of spell yesterday of just loneliness, ain't got nobody, don't got a husband, and we posting all the pictures of Kirk and his wife and Rashida and her husband and Beyonce and her husband and T.I. and his wife. But let me tell you something. Marriage is more of responsibility than it is reward. Marriage is more, if you don't hear anything else from my live, by giving you the real deal on marriage, and I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to save this video and post it on YouTube because I want you to be able to go back to this. But marriage is more responsibility than it is reward. That once you handle your responsibility, then you can have the reward. But we have been attracted so much, Raquel, what's up? That we've been so much attracted to the reward of marriage that we go in not understanding that there is a responsibility. We see this car, this beautiful car, and we get gas happy. We get ready to get on the road, but we don't understand that it takes maintenance to keep that car running. Okay, it takes maintenance to keep that car running. If you don't believe me, drive your car, keep driving. Don't get no oil change. Just keep driving. Don't get your tires rotated. Just keep driving. Just keep going without maintenance, and you're going to soon figure out that your car is going to give out, but it's only giving out for something easy that you should have done. Listen, I've had a car that the engine locked up because I waited too late to go and get an oil change. Something simple as a $70 oil change, it cost me $5,000 to get a new engine on that car. It takes work. You have to continue to maintenance that marriage, maintenance that relationship. And so, yeah, that's what I wanted to get on here and just demystify this whole idea and this whole image and fantasy that we have of marriage and what it is, to understand that marriage is really does take work. So while you are single, listen, this is your prayer. This is our prayer. I don't want to be married. My prayer is not, Lord, give me a wife or give me a husband that I can have a +1. No. Lord, give me a husband or give me a wife that I can have another set of legs in my bed, so when I get weary and well doing, I can go ahead and pleasure myself with my spouse. No. Not that. Your prayer should be, Lord, get me ready to be able to walk on a journey with someone to carry them from where they are to where you want them to be. Give me the wisdom to be able to know the ins and outs and to study that man or woman of God. Give me the consistency to where now, while I'm single, that I pick up a habit, that I can do the same healthy habit for more than 30 days. And that matriculates and maturates until something that becomes a culture. God, allow me to be so consistent that my positive habits turn into culture, because you're going to need it in marriage. Okay. Lord, give me the power to do things against my will. That's marriage. See, going to get custom outfits and going to get photo shoots, all of that stuff, that's superficial. No. But marriage is literally going against your will. If you can't go against your will now, just dating, then you're not going to be able to go against your will in marriage. You got to think about it. These are two people coming from two different sides of the track. You're going to have to go against your will. Marriage is reward. It's responsibility against your will. So, sir, it's going to be some times where you're just going to have to sit there and act like you listening to everything she said. Don't act, but really be engaged with everything that she's saying. That was my problem. Put the phone up. Put the iPad up. Turn the TVs off. Can you sit Indian style in the middle of the bed? I'm telling you what she wants. I'm trying to put you up on game off of how I felt. She wants you to sit Indian style in the middle of the bed, in the middle of the floor, and say, let's talk. Tell me how your day was. Wow, for real? They really did that at your job? Man, they crazy. Wow, for real? So how are you in that type of atmosphere? That's what she wants. She wanted to listen thou unto me. If you get your woman to start talking and not feeling like, okay, you just want to talk because you want something. No. Because sometimes, I'm just putting you up on game. Sometimes you're going to have to talk to her and she going to want some. And you're going to have to be like, no, man, I just want to hold you. Now, deep down in your heart, you like, God, but you got to make her feel secure. I'm trying to talk to the guys and trying to tell you what to do. That's real marriage. Real marriage ain't just, going in every time the opportunity presents itself. Woo! No. Sometimes you might want the intimacy as a man, but you're going to have to learn a deeper level of intimacy through conversation. And you're going to have to just let her talk, because once she feel like she can talk to you, dog, it ain't nothing that you can ask for that she won't make happen. If she can talk to you, because men, we're driven by the physical while they're driven by the emotional. So while there are some women that say this, I ain't gonna turn my husband down. Nope, because I want this and I want that, so he ain't never gonna have to worry about that. You a lie, because you emotional. You emotional. There are some women on here already right now that you know that if you're not in a certain mood, that I don't want it. Leave me alone. Quit touching me. Stop. You're gonna have to deal with that now, because that is what marriage is. You're gonna have to deal with that for real. And I understand the Bible say that you can't withhold yourself from your spouse. But let's be honest, y'all do it. Y'all doing it. That's why, and we done. I promise you I'm getting off here. But that's why the greatest supporters of the strip clubs are married men. Not single men. I don't even go to the strip club, but I'm single, but I don't even go to the strip club. Because I can't deal with the pathology or the psychology of all of y'all see the same thing and all of y'all getting stimulated off of one girl. So you got a bunch of guys on one row, everybody stimulated. I just don't get down with that. I'm sorry. But that's the third close, Tiana. But my thing is, you're going to have to deal with that, women, because women are emotionally driven. While men, we physically driven. I don't care if we just got out of an argument right after the argument. It's time to go. Right after the argument. The intimacy ain't that good until it's after an argument. But women, you hurt my feelings. You didn't say sorry. You shouldn't have said it like that. And so before you get intimate, you got to apologize and fast and pray, and Father, just allow her. I'm telling you, that's marriage for real. So I would William, I'm not fooling with y'all today. I'm just telling y'all what's real. I want it to be as transparent as I could be, because I don't get the opportunity to talk about relationships a lot. But I've been single. I've been married. I am now divorced. I'm single again. So I believe that God's hand is definitely on it after the argument. Because now Okay. But that's marriage for real. I want y'all to just know what it is. It ain't dressing up. It ain't come. This is the other thing for all the church people. Marriage is not, I want to be married because when I go in, when I start bucking and shouting, I want my wife to come and grab my hand. That's how I used to be. That's how I used to be when I first got married. I'm like, whoo, I want me and my wife to shout together. And guess what? We danced together. We shouted together. We cried out together. We spit up together. We took communion together. We fasted together, but we not together today. So that should tell you something. It takes more than this stuff we doing at church to sustain a healthy marriage. So those of you that are single, I already told you what your prayer should be. Your prayer should be, Lord, make me consistent. Lord, make me consistent. My voice is crazy today. But Lord, make me consistent. I ain't never had a job for more than a year. I've never lived anywhere for more than a year. So you have to learn stability now. Because if you don't learn stability now, it's going to be a culture shock when you get married. You're going to have to learn stability and consistency. Hold on. Even after she take that wig off, y'all ain't saying nothing. Even after she take that sew-in off, y'all ain't going to talk. Even after that body magic come off, you're going to have to still be in love with that girl. Yep. But here's the new sexy, though. The new sexy is committed men who can remain integral with one woman. I'm telling you about what I know because I was the guy who juggled around 3 and 4 and 5 different women. Hold on, and sometimes they might have been in the same church. I did it. I'm not glorying in that. Why? Because it is a immature, unintegral man. It don't take nothing to do that, but it takes maturity. It takes integrity. It takes great character. It takes prayer. It takes humility. It takes a real man to make one woman happy for the rest of her life. You can go to the movies with her, and go see the same thing as if it's your first time going to see it. That ain't no man. A real man is, can you satisfy the one that you're currently with for the rest of your life? Why? Because now you're going to have to tap into some different things. It's more than your looks now, bro. It's more than your game in the bedroom now. Why? Because once you get used to that, once she get used to that, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Tisa, I love you. It is what it is that once you get used to that, let me just tell you, it's going to come to a time, it's going to come to a time for even men. You're going to be like, man, I'm sick of sex. I don't want none for the next, it's going to come that time. So what's going to be the driving force in your relationship and in your marriage after you've had all the sex you can have after the wedding? It's going to take consistency. If you ain't consistent now, it's going to take stability. If you're not stable now, it's going to take integrity. If you're not integral now, don't look at the pictures on Instagram. That's all I keep saying to the millennials because I understand what marriage is like for real. Don't look at what these folk talking about. Thank you. Death to empty sex. Lord, that was literally my thing. I told God, I said, I'm sick of empty sex. I'm tired of it. Because you ain't doing nothing but just relieving yourself physically. But there is nothing that grew spiritually in the relationship as a result of our intimacy together. And so that's that. So I just got on here because I wanted to give y'all the raw truth of what I believe it takes to sustain a marriage with our millennial generation, because we look at Instagram and Facebook and all of this other stuff and we think that is what marriage is. Let me tell you something. Marriage ain't Beyonce and Jay-Z. Okay? Marriage ain't that. Marriage ain't that. They look good together. But we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We already seen what happened in the elevator. So we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So I want to say this. My prayer as a single man, as a single woman, and I'm done. My prayer should be, Lord, this is the close number 4. My prayer should be, Lord, give me consistency. Give me integrity. Lord, cause me to look at the maintenance. Cause me to look at the maintenance of what's going to sustain this over the cosmetics. Yes, the house looks good, but can you maintain it? Yes, the car looks good, but can you maintain it? So our prayer should be for consistency, stability, the ability to maintain what God has given us. Men, your prayer should be to be less, to get less out of, I'm not going to say come out of yourself, but sometimes you have to come out of yourself and really learn how to just talk. Just talk to her. Just talk to her. Babe, I don't want no sex. I don't want nothing from you. I'm good. I just want to talk and see what's going on in your world. As a matter of fact, today it's all about you. I'm not talking about my vision. I'm not talking about what I got. I'm not talking about, the things that I'm trying to do. I want to be team you, team wife, team girlfriend, whatever you are. I want to be team you today. Can you carry that person in the spirit? It's hard for you to fast now. Fasting is a denial of your flesh, a denial of what you would really want. So you would normally be eating oatmeal at 8:30, but when you fasting, that comes against all of that. And so, Lord, develop my fast life. Oh yeah, because when you get married, you don't get blind. There's still going to be some women that's going, my God, but you're going to have to look and go home. Look and go home. All right. So that's all I got to say on that. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not a relationship expert, but I was married for 6 years. And so I believe that because of my failure and what I've learned on my part, because let me say this to those that you've been married or divorced, you need relationship counseling. You need counsel in the area of relationships, because I did not understand the fact of why I needed at least 3 women. I needed at least 3 women, because what I didn't like from her, I got from her. And what I didn't get from her, I got from the other girl, because I had one girl that was real spiritual. And then I got another girl that was real secular. And then I got another girl that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. She don't know church. She don't even know my real name. But she liked to get the money. And so I had 3 different women. And it wasn't until counseling that I found out that both of my grandfathers were the same way. My mom's dad and my father's dad were the same way. And I got pissed. I got pissed because I said, oh, for real, devil? You're going to try to make me to be just like Philip Cowan, who I never met, but his spirit is on me? You're going to try to make me be like Nathaniel Cody, who I never met a day in my life, but his spirit is on me? They needed women for this. They had women for this. I was told my grandfathers, they had different women for the day. My grandmother just sat down, both of my grandmothers, really, they just sat down and talked to me in depth about my grandfathers. And guess what? They still stayed married to them. That was just the mindset of older women, the baby boomers. Because their parents told them divorce is not an option. And so they stayed with my grandfathers until both of them just died. Both of them died. My mom's mom died. My dad's mom died. My dad's father died. Not my dad's mom, Lord, no. But they both died from drugs and women, alcohol and women. And then I started seeing it play out in my life. I had a woman for the different day too. I had a church girl. I had a not so churchy girl. I had a girl that didn't know anything about me, didn't even know my name, but she was about the money. I had a career-driven woman. And I'm thinking I'm the man. No, no, no. You ain't the man. You're living out what Philip Cowan and what Nathaniel Cody put on you. And I hurt a lot of women because of it. No, y'all don't want to get in that conversation. I hurt a lot of women because of it. So now I'm at the place in my life to where I'm really mindful and watchful of what I do. Not because it's like sneaky. No, no, no. I have to be mindful of how I enter in certain conversations with women. That's why I don't like going to singles events. I just went to a singles event yesterday, and it's somebody that's trying to talk to me now. Churchy, the church way. I don't. No, I don't want to. No, 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 man of God, we got to pick up that conversation. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. But that's me, and I hope that I said something that you guys could take with you in your relationships of just looking at my transparencies, my failures. I want you guys to be the best. I want all of us to have the best relationships. I really think that that is the perfect example of Jesus and in his church is marriage. I believe that that's the perfect example of Jesus Christ and his church. And so I want us to have better relationships, better marriages. And so I wanted to come on here to demystify. Thank you, Kenya. I wanted to come on here to demystify the image, the idea, and the fantasy of marriage, and just talk about the real reality of what really goes on. I was on here for a long time. I pray that you guys have an amazing Saturday. And if you got any questions or anything that y'all want to talk about, just, don't inbox me. Don't inbox me, but just put it up on this, and I'll do some lives or something. And just share my 2 cents. I'll share my 2 cents on what I got to say. All right. I'll talk to you all next time.